All right. So as you can see on the screen, we have an image, or we have some images. I believe everyone can see. We have the strand one, which is designed, and we have substrand, which is designed in nature and the man-made environment, or nature and man-made environment. Can you all see the screen? Let me see your thumbs up or your hands up. All right. Thank you. Okay. So we are taking it step by step. We'll be running through all these strands before Tuesday when school opens. So make sure you're writing down notes. All right. So under design, we've all done design before. Okay. So you all know what design is? You all know what design is. Now here we'll be demonstrating how we can understand the concepts of design, the importance of design, and the creative expression of design in nature and the man-made environment. Now, when we talk about nature, you all know what nature is. When we talk about man-made, you all know what man-made is. Who can tell me another word for man-made? Send it in the chat. Another word for man-made. All right. Thank you, Cheryl. Another word for man-made, artificial. Good. Thank you, Obi. So we all know the importance of design. Now, there's a difference between importance and the role. There's a difference between importance and the role. So, everyone in Honeypot, all the learners in Honeypot are important. All the learners in Honeypot are important. But not everyone in, or not all learners in Honeypot have the same role. Once again, every learner in Honeypot is important. But not every one or learner in Honeypot has the same role. I hope it's clear. So when I say importance, it means that without you, we cannot run the school. Without you, there will be no one to teach. But a particular learner can play the role of a school prefect. A particular learner can play the role of a public speaker. A particular learner can play the role of teaching everyone how to play football. So these are roles. Not everyone can play the same role. A group of people can play the same role, but not everyone play the same role. Okay, so let's get a difference between importance and role of design. Okay, so if you look at the images, let me zoom in. We have a colorful bird. We have a design inspired by the town. Now, it says that the beak of the kingfisher bird was inspired by Shinkansen bullet train in Japan. I believe some of you would see these questions in your objectives. So it can be asked that the bullet train, I believe most of you know what a bullet train is. Like, what was the inspiration behind it? The answer is the kingfisher bird. Okay? And in one country is Japan. Okay. So over here, the importance of design is right there. At the same time, the role of design is there. What's the importance of design here? The importance is the bullet train was designed or inspired by the kingfisher. Now, what is the role of the design here? The role of design is to get you the idea of that the train was designed or inspired by the kingfisher bird. So the role here is getting you the design, and then the importance here is more talking about the fact that you can't do without design. I hope you get the difference. Okay. Then moving on, we have the Ants Hill, which is also inspired by the Eastgate building in Harare. Who knows where Harare is? Does anyone know where Harare is? Who knows where Harare is? You can send a message in the chat. Harare. Okay. I'll leave you guys in Zimbabwe. Okay. Thank you. Is it Papa Poku? Okay. And then we move on to what we all know, the elements of design. The elements of design. Okay. You all know the lines, you know the dots, texture, form, and so on and so forth. All these are elements of design. Now, under elements of design, we have the natural elements and we have the man-made elements. So the natural elements are those that you can see on the screen. You have the zebra, these are natural elements. You have the rocks, stones, all these are natural elements. You have the texture, you can see crocodile. These are all elements of design for the natural one. We are talking about, remember, we're talking about design as a strand, and the substrand is, everybody type in the chat. Substrand is, the substrand is, okay, no one is. All right, thank you, Cheryl. And then when we look at the man-made element, we have line. As you can see on your screen, that is a railway line. That is a basket. And you can see an image of a sculpture, more like a petal of purpose. Okay, so all these are man-made elements. These are man-made elements. What is another name for man-made element? Yamedo. Unmute and speak. Yamedo is absent. Lisa, another name for man-made element.
Built environment.
Come again. Come again. We didn't get that. All right, Lisa, let's hear you.
Artificial element.
Okay, another name, Leonard Capital Asante.
Natural.
Try again. Capital
Artificial.
artificial element. Or Leonard again, artificial elements or
Man-made elements.
or okay, so we yes, he doesn't remember the third one. Joel Kekeli, apart from what Leonard said, what other name do we give to them?
Synthetic elements.
The what?
Synthetic elements.
There was a particular one I said. Were you here when I started?
No.
Okay, so you wouldn't get it. All right. Gilda, another name apart from what Joel, Capital, and Lisa said.
Built elements.
Built element. Very good. So all your answers are correct. Okay. So Leonard, Lisa, Joel, and Gilda, all your answers are correct. All right. Now we will break over here before we move on to the next one. Do you have any questions? Raise your hand and then so 5 seconds. If no one has a question, then I go on. All right, 5 seconds gone. No one has a question. Okay, so the next thing we are going to look at are the natural and man-made environments that we can use to identify and document examples of element of design. Okay, so we've done this already, but let's go over. So we have patterns of lines and shapes. We have concentric circles. We have different sizes of dots. Okay, So the very first box, I believe everyone can see the first box, looks like a spider web. Mm? When you look closely to into it, you can see shapes. You can see a hexagon. You can see lines. Mm? You can even see a diamond shape there. And then the middle one looks like the scales of a fish, scales of a snake, scales of a crocodile. Their skin. You get what I mean? And sometimes when you look beneath the feet of chicken, roosters, hens, cocks, you see this shape or design there for scales. And then the last one, to the extreme right, also looks more of dots. All right, the same dots probably you can find in a dog or in a cat, mm, or even the skin of a tiger or a leopard. Okay, dots like that. So if I'm to ask any one of you to tell me the first box or the first one, apart from a spider web, what other design you can find this? They should be able to tell me. The middle one, you're able to tell me, and finally this, you should be able to tell me. So these are all the importance and rules of design. So when you talk about patterns, all what you just saw are patterns, and they come in what lines and shapes. Okay, they come in lines and shapes. Thank you, Cheryl. The face of a bird. Yes, the face of a bird. And then we have concentric circles. We have different sizes of dots. Zebra stripes. Thank you, and all right. So before we conclude, let's have a look finally at this. It's almost 9:40. Let's have a look at this. Now, apart from elements of design, we have principles of design. Don't forget, we have principles of design. Now, under principles of design, we have the balance, we have the rhythm, we have the repetition, and so on and so forth. So, before the class ends, or after the online class, or after the online session, you will have a test. It will be sent later in the evening, right? It will be sent later in the evening or later in the day. Try and research about everything I've spoken about in this session so that it can help you answer questions from the online session, for the online assignment. Okay, so we have principles of design and we have elements of design. Get the difference. In our next creative arts and design class, I'll be asking questions about that. So thank you so much for your attention. If you have a question, you can ask before we finally end this session and get ready for tomorrow's session. Once again, if you just joined, you are welcome. Some of the rules are make sure you're not lying down, get a chair, sit down like you're in the class setting, get a notepad, pencil, and write down notes. If you have any question, write a question down. You can ask after every session. And then finally, make sure you are not filling the chat with chats. That's not chat. Let's send questions in the chat if your instructor or your teacher asks you to do so. Okay, someone's asking, you are expected to research. Papa Junior. Okay, all right. Oh, S1 said eye pimple. I didn't see that. All right, Joe. Okay, that's all. Thank you. Okay, so one other question. All right. Yeah, S1, there are other principles of design, but we have the major one for your level. Okay. All right. So we'll be ending this session in less than a minute. Make sure you look through the page on WhatsApp where your parents are. Make sure you've gotten the link for the assignment that I'll be sharing. And then the assignment is such that you have to use the browser or whatever device you're using to answer the question. It is timed. The minute you leave the browser to try and go and research before you come back, all your progress is gone. So make sure you are well prepared before you start answering the questions online. Thank you very much. If there are no other questions, thank you so much for coming. See you tomorrow at exactly 9:40 for career tech. Yeah, career tech. But at least you got something done. Thank you so much, and I'll see you tomorrow.